Hi, this is Mr. Hammer. I'm back again for section 9.2, comparing and ordering integers. So we use the symbols greater than and less than to show order. The symbol points to the smaller number. So for example, if we have 8, we know that 8 is greater than the number 4. Or we could say that 4 is less than the number 8. Now let's look at these numbers here. In the first example, I've got positive 5 and positive 3, two positive integers. So we would say that positive 5, because it's larger than positive 3, is greater than positive 3. Conversely, we could write it the other way around. We could switch places and say positive 3 is actually also less than positive 5. So this is an example where we have two positive integers. So here's an example here where we have one positive integer and one negative integer. We have positive 3 and negative 4, and we're comparing them. Because positive 3 is to the right on the number line of negative 4, we know that positive 3 is greater than negative 4, and we write it like this. I'm going to write it nice and big. Positive 3 is greater than negative 4. But we can switch it around and say that negative 3 is smaller than positive 3. Let's look at the third example. Now in this case we have two negative numbers. Here's where things start to get a little bit interesting. We have negative 1 and negative 3. Now because negative 3 is to the left of negative 1 on the number line, we know that it is less. In terms of positive numbers, we've always looked at 0 as our starting point and gone upwards. And in terms of figuring out if one number is bigger than the other, we always only look at the digit. So if we're looking at 9 and 4, we say, well, 9 is larger, so it's bigger than 4. But when we get into the negative numbers, it's different. So in this case, we have negative 3 and negative 1. Now if we were to look only at the digit 3, we'd say, well, 3 is bigger than 1. But because it has a negative on top, we have to consider where it is on the number line. And the negatives actually work exactly opposite. So the bigger the digit we get in the negatives, the smaller it is. In this example, negative 3 is actually smaller than negative 1. Or we could write it the other way around. Negative 1 is larger than negative 3. And that's it for comparing and ordering integers. Please email me if you have any questions.